a familiar narrative examining the victimhood of Black Americans. The story of Black Americans is often told through a lens of victimhood. Centuries of slavery, segregation, and discrimination have left an undeniable mark. It's a narrative deeply ingrained in our society. It's a narrative we see reflected in our media, our politics, and even our classrooms. This narrative is not entirely unfounded. The wounds of the past run deep. The legacy of oppression continues to impact the lives of Black Americans today. But what happens when this narrative of victimhood becomes the dominant narrative? What happens when it overshadows the stories of resilience, strength, and triumph that also define the Black experience? While acknowledging the injustices of the past and present is crucial, it's equally important to examine the potential pitfalls of holding on to a victim mentality. To move forward, to heal, and to build a brighter future, we must explore narratives that empower and uplift, rather than confine and define us. This is not to diminish the very real pain and suffering experienced by Black Americans throughout history. It is, however, a call to examine the narrative we choose to embrace and the impact it has on our individual and collective psyche.
The tendency to categorize groups as either victims or oppressors is not unique to the Black American experience. History is replete with examples of power imbalances and systemic oppression. Looking beyond race, we find striking parallels in the experiences of other cultures and communities across the globe. From the caste system in India to the Norman conquest of England, the struggle for power and equality is a recurring theme throughout human history. Understanding these historical parallels can provide valuable insights into the complexities of oppression and the universal desire for freedom and self-determination.
By broadening our perspective and studying the struggles of others, we gain a deeper understanding of our own. We begin to see that the fight for equality is not confined to one race or one nation. It is a fight that transcends borders and connects us all in a shared human experience. Examining these historical parallels allows us to deconstruct the binary of victim and oppressor and see the situation's nuances.
The Norman conquest of England in 1066 offers a fascinating case study in shifting power dynamics. This pivotal event not only altered the course of English history, but also set the stage for a profound transformation in the cultural and social fabric of the nation. The Normans, originally Vikings from Scandinavia, had adopted the French language and culture. They settled in what is now France, in a region that came to be known as Normandy. Over time, they assimilated into French society, adopting its customs, language, and even its feudal system. After their victory at the Battle of Hastings, they imposed their language and customs on the conquered Anglo-Saxons. This imposition was not just superficial, it permeated every aspect of life, from governance to daily interactions. What's remarkable is how quickly the Norman French, once the conquerors, became the ruling class of England. They established themselves as the new elite, taking over lands, titles, and positions of power previously held by the Anglo-Saxon nobility. They established a new social order, with French becoming the language of the court, law, and aristocracy. This shift in language was significant, as it symbolized the transfer of power and the new social hierarchy. The Anglo-Saxons, though forming the majority, found themselves marginalized in their own land. They were often relegated to lower social and economic positions, their customs and language pushed to the periphery.
However, over time, a fascinating fusion occurred. The Norman French and Anglo-Saxons began to intermarry and interact, leading to a blending of languages and cultures. This process was gradual and complex, involving both conflict and cooperation. Eventually, a new English identity emerged, drawing from both cultures. This new identity was not purely Norman or Anglo-Saxon, but a unique amalgamation that reflected the contributions and influences of both groups. This fusion ultimately led to the creation of the English language we know today, a testament to the complex interplay of power, adaptation, and cultural exchange. The language evolved, incorporating elements from both Norman French and Old English, resulting in a rich and diverse linguistic heritage. The Norman conquest illustrates that power structures are not static. They are subject to change and can be influenced by various factors, including cultural exchange, intermarriage, and social mobility. Those who are oppressed can rise to positions of influence, and the lines between victim and oppressor can blur over time. This dynamic is evident in the way the Anglo-Saxons gradually regained influence and integrated with the Norman rulers. It highlights the dynamism of culture and the potential for reconciliation and integration even in the aftermath of conquest. The story of the Normans and Anglo-Saxons serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience of human societies and their capacity for adaptation and growth.
Section 4, India's timeless struggle, the caste system's grip. The caste system in India is not just a relic of the past, it is a living, breathing entity that continues to shape the lives of millions. India's caste system presents another compelling example of enduring social hierarchy. This system, deeply embedded in the social fabric, influences every aspect of life, from the moment of birth to the final rites. This ancient system, with roots in Hinduism, divides society into rigid groups based on birth. It is a structure that has been both revered and reviled, shaping the cultural and social landscape of India for millennia.
At the top are the Brahmins, the priests and scholars, followed by the Kshatriyas, warriors and rulers, Vaishyas, merchants and traders, and Shudras, laborers. Each caste has its own set of duties and responsibilities, creating a complex web of social obligations. Outside this system are the Dalits, formerly known as untouchables, relegated to the lowest rungs of society. They have historically been subjected to severe discrimination, often denied basic human rights and dignity.
For centuries, the caste system has dictated social interactions, marriage prospects, and even occupations. It has been a powerful force in maintaining social order, but at a tremendous cost to those at the bottom. Dalits, in particular, have faced severe discrimination and exclusion, subjected to menial jobs and social ostracism. Their struggle for equality has been long and arduous, marked by both progress and setbacks.
Despite India's progress as a democracy and economic powerhouse, the legacy of the caste system continues to cast a long shadow on Indian society. The disparities between different castes are stark, visible in both urban and rural settings. The caste system demonstrates how deeply entrenched social hierarchies can persist for generations, impacting individuals' lives and hindering social mobility. It is a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the challenges of social reform.
It highlights the insidious nature of systemic oppression, where discrimination becomes ingrained in the very fabric of society. The psychological impact on those affected is profound, often leading to a sense of hopelessness and resignation. While the fight against caste-based discrimination is ongoing, there are glimmers of hope. Grassroots movements and community initiatives are making a difference, slowly but surely.
Education, activism, and government policies are slowly chipping away at this age-old system. Schools and universities are becoming battlegrounds for equality, where the younger generation is challenging the status quo. The resilience and determination of those fighting for equality offer a beacon of hope for a more just and equitable future. Their efforts remind us that change, though slow, is possible, and that the dream of an inclusive society is worth striving for.
Section 5. The Trap of Victimhood. Cycles of Blame and Powerlessness. While acknowledging past and present injustices is essential, clinging to a perpetual victim mentality can be detrimental. It is important to recognize the historical context and the systemic issues that have contributed to the current state of affairs. However, it is equally important to understand the impact of adopting a mindset that focuses solely on victimhood. It can trap individuals and communities in a cycle of blame, resentment, and powerlessness. This cycle can be perpetuated by continuously pointing fingers and assigning blame without seeking constructive solutions. It can create an environment where progress is stifled and the focus remains on past grievances rather than future possibilities. This is not to say that the pain and anger stemming from historical trauma are not valid. They are very real and should be acknowledged. The emotional scars left by these experiences are deep and can influence generations. However, it is crucial to find a balance between honoring these emotions and not allowing them to dominate our lives. However, allowing those emotions to define our present and future can be self-defeating. It can lead to a sense of stagnation, where individuals feel stuck in their circumstances and unable to move forward. This mindset can hinder personal growth and community development, preventing us from reaching our full potential. It prevents us from moving forward, from taking ownership of our narratives, and from creating a better future for ourselves and generations to come. By focusing on our strengths and achievements, we can build a foundation for a brighter future. Celebrating our successes and recognizing our capabilities can empower us to take control of our destinies. The danger of the victim mentality lies in its ability to foster a sense of helplessness. This sense of helplessness can be pervasive, affecting all aspects of life, from personal relationships to professional aspirations. It can create a barrier to success, as individuals may feel that their efforts are futile in the face of systemic challenges. When we constantly view ourselves as victims, we relinquish our agency and our power to shape our own destiny. This mindset can lead to a passive approach to life, where individuals wait for change to happen rather than actively pursuing it. It is essential to recognize our power and take proactive steps to create the change we wish to see. We become defined by the very forces we seek to overcome, trapped in a cycle of reactivity rather than proactivity. This reactive stance can limit our ability to innovate and find creative solutions to the challenges we face. By shifting our focus to proactive measures, we can break free from this cycle and pave the way for meaningful progress. Breaking free from this cycle requires a conscious shift in perspective. It involves recognizing the power of our thoughts and beliefs in shaping our reality. By adopting a growth mindset, we can transform our challenges into opportunities for growth and development. It demands that we acknowledge our pain, but refuse to let it define us. This process involves healing and self-reflection, allowing us to understand our experiences without being consumed by them. It is about finding strength in our resilience and using it as a foundation for building a better future. It requires us to reclaim our agency, embrace our resilience, and focus on building a future where we are defined not by our past suffering, but by our strength, determination, and unwavering pursuit of equality. By working together and supporting one another, we can create a community that thrives on empowerment and collective progress. This journey is not easy, but it is essential for breaking the cycles of blame and powerlessness and achieving true liberation and justice for all.
Section 6. Reclaiming Agency, a new narrative for Black Americans. It's time for a new narrative for Black Americans, one that acknowledges the past but focuses on the future. This narrative is about empowerment, self-reliance, and taking control of our own destinies.
It's about recognizing that while we cannot change the past, we have the power to shape our future. This new narrative starts with reclaiming our agency. It means recognizing that we are not simply passive recipients of other people's actions, but active agents in our own lives.
It's about understanding that while systemic barriers may exist, they do not have to define our outcomes. This shift in perspective is not about denying the realities of racism or minimizing the challenges faced by Black Americans.
Instead, it's about recognizing that despite these challenges, we possess an indomitable spirit, a legacy of resilience passed down through generations. It's about tapping into that strength, that unwavering belief in our ability to overcome adversity.
It's about owning our narratives, writing our own stories, and creating a future where Black Americans are defined not by their past suffering, but by their resilience, their achievements, and their unwavering pursuit of excellence.